Hello, world of the internet, YouTube. Forgot to change the background. Doesn't matter. If you watch the wrestling show, cheap plug for my wrestling show every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. GMT, and come join me and talk about the world of wrestling, which we did this week. But the other thing we like to do once a month is, again, it's a cheap plug, but I do enjoy doing it. It's fun. Every week on my Patreon, patreon.com/Simon316. That's how I'm able to do... Oh, I haven't turned my... That's going to echo. Didn't turn that down. From doing reaction videos on Eminem earlier. What a flipping song that was. Every week for my patrons, we just do a weekly Q&A. I really enjoy it. It's very laid back. We just answer whatever questions you want. So again, as like a little cheap advert to show what you can get and to try and push the Patreon up, because again, the Patreon fuels and funds all of my YouTube work and my personal stuff. If I didn't have the Patreon, I'd have to stop. It also helps me being a wrestler. It all ties in. I'm like, I'll do this. And, we just get to have a little bit of a chat. I'll answer whatever you want. We can do questions. We can do answers. Fitness, bodybuilding, music, wrestling, whatever you want. Religion, life, mental health, whatever you want to ask me, I will do it. And what we'll do is, as the questions come up in the chat, I'll grab as many as I can. But you know how YouTube works. If you use the super chat, which is that little $ beneath the chat box, I will 100% answer them, because the way I see it is, if you give me money and I ignore you, I'm an absolute asshole. So I absolutely will not do that. But yeah, that Eminem dropped an album this morning. I reacted to the video called Darkness. I'm not even going to spoil it here, because I did not see it coming. I did not see it coming. That was like a bus smashing me into my face. So yeah, if you're into Eminem, just watch it in general. I think it's a really powerful message. Don't know why I'm talking about this now. I just loved it. I just absolutely loved it. Someone says, stream. Simon made a stream. This is new for me. So what do you think of the Drew McIntyre push? Well, I'll believe it when they see it through to the end. Is my reaction to it. It feels now like WWE has tried to push Drew numerous times, even when he was in the company round one, and for some reason they never pulled the trigger. I just realized I'm going to turn this off quickly. I just turn all the internet off on my other machines, otherwise my internet goes crazy sometimes. Yeah, I want them to see it through. I mean, he's got all the tools. He's got, he's a WWE guy. If you hear him in interviews, he's very smart, very switched on. But we've got to get behind him, man. We've got to get him good storylines. I don't know whether he's turning face or not, but I still like this new character. So, yeah, just fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that we actually pull the trigger. And he was the chosen one, don't forget, back in the day. Somebody asked my thoughts on Radiohead. So, Radiohead are a band I remember absolutely falling in love with when I was about, 14, I guess. I think most people find them then. It was hilarious. I went to HMV, and the two albums I bought were Limp Bizkit's Significant Other and Radiohead's OK Computer, which I think kind of goes to show my eclectic musical tastes. I like Radiohead. I didn't necessarily like it when they went all experimental with Kid A and things like that, but I always listen to their albums, and I always massively respect what they do, and I love that they are their own band. Like, nobody messes with Tom York and Radiohead. They just do, there's nothing. There's you can't push them around, and I think that's great. So, yeah, I like their earlier stuff more than their later stuff, but I enjoy that they walk their own path. I think it's quite inspirational. Can you tell me your favorite WWE wrestler? Well, right now it'd probably be... Who's my favorite WWE wrestler right now? Who do I get excited to see each and every week? Always Rusev, even though I'm not massively into what he's doing at the moment, but always Rusev. I do like Drew McIntyre. I like Buddy Murphy. I like Aleister Black. That's a really good question, I should probably have an answer to that at the top of my head. I don't really necessarily feel like I have a favorite WWE wrestler. Isn't that weird? I don't think that I do. Kevin Owens, maybe. Yeah, I'll go Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe. That's my answer. Shout out to Brandon Carvalho in the super chat. Like I said earlier, I'll answer as many as I can. If you do the super chat, I will 100% answer your question. You can figure out why. Royal Rumble predictions, the whole pay-per-view, not just the match. All right, Brandon, let's do it. Men's winner, Roman Reigns. Women's winner, Shayna Baszler. I think we'll get Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, and... No, maybe we won't get that match. That's a good question. I think you get Nakamura versus Braun Strowman. I think you probably get one last match between Andrade and Rey Mysterio. I think there'll be some shenanigans on Monday. I think you get the Viking Raiders versus somebody, maybe the Street Profits. And you'll get The Miz and John Morrison take on the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. You get Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend. And in terms of predicting all of those, The Fiend will retain his titles. The Miz and Morrison may actually win the Tag Team Championships. No idea why I'm looking over here. What else did I say? I can't even remember. There you go. There's some stuff. there's some stuff for you. Well, you know what? Let me look up the card. Royal Rumble 2020. This is the best way to do it. I will have forgotten something. Or will I? Men's Royal Rumble done. Women's at the Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan. Bray Wyatt. Becky Lynch versus Asuka. Desperately want Asuka. It won't be, so I'll go Becky Lynch. Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin. I mean, Roman Reigns will win that. So that's my ideas. The Train 24 in the super chat says, you've been a wrestling fan forever since it's also your career. Did you have a moment where you thought, I can't believe I'm interviewing him, her, or can't believe I'm doing this for a living? Well, the latter I do all the time. Like some days when I wake up on Tuesday and realize that I'm being paid to, review Raw. I feel very privileged and very lucky. Like I've always worked really hard, but I understand lots of people work hard. Working hard doesn't mean you get achievements and accomplishments. That's just where we start. I sound like The Rock, but it's true. So all the time do I think that, and sometimes I even feel a bit guilty, as weird as that sounds. I don't know why, but it just brains and I guess it's like Stockholm Syndrome a little. Not Stockholm Syndrome. That's when you fall in love with your kidnappers. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. But sometimes you think like, how did I get here? Yeah, all the time. And in terms of interviewing him or her, no, I don't usually get starstruck, but only because I try and be super professional when I approach my interviews. Like if you've ever seen any of my interviews, I always try and... I'm not saying I try and put myself on their level. I don't mean it like that, but I try and talk to them like another human being. Maybe afterwards I walk away, I'm like, "Poof, that was crazy." I think the number one of all of that is actually when I was working for a video game magazine, and they would always get time with wrestlers to promote their games. And one year, I promise you, on my life, this is true. One year they had Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he was just going to ring in. And they said, just make sure you're by your phone by 2 p.m. or whatever. So I sat by my phone, still got the recording of this. If I can find it, I'll put it online. But I assumed he'd have a PR person, excuse me, or a press agent. Nope, my phone rang. I picked it up. And I swear, I promise, it went, "Hey, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin." I looked at the phone like it was fire. I was like, threw it over there. And that was a moment, and that happened with John Cena once, but he did have a PR person that said, "Please talk to John Cena." So that absolutely took me aback, yes, that I got, it was only 5 minutes. He was in a limo or some kind of car going from one engagement to the next, but I got to have a 5-minute chat with Steve Austin. He was just the nicest dude. I know there's some controversy there, but for me, in that 5-minute conversation, the nicest dude. My man Derek Ireland, super chat, always supporting. Appreciate you, Derek. Thanks so much. Fun question. You've won $1 billion. Oh, man, if only. You started your own wrestling company. Well, that's the worst thing ever because I'm going to lose my money. You have to choose 10 wrestlers, 5 women, 5 men. Who do you choose and why? Hope all is good with you, my friend. Take care. By the way, DDP was a beast on Wednesday. DDP defied logic. I can't believe the amount of... No, it wasn't that much, but there was some negative towards DDP. Someone sent me a tweet going, yeah, he didn't look a day over 75. Let you send me a picture when you're 63. DDP defies logic. Right, 10 wrestlers, 5 women, 5 men. My 5 men would be Kenny Omega, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, and Samoa Joe. I've so missed somebody, but I'm just going on top of my head. My 5 women would be Charlotte Flair, controversial, Becky Lynch, Riho, Toni Storm, and Alexa Bliss. They're my 5. Why I would choose all of them? Because I think they're most marketable. I think they are people that I naturally gravitate towards. I think they merge up. When you take them as a 10, you've got promos in there. You've got good workers in there. You've got people that are appealing in there. So when you're flicking through the channel, you'll look at them and go, oh, who's that guy? I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by this person. So, yes, I think they would be my 10, but I'm sure, if there was some extra ones I could sneak in there, people like Braun Strowman and The Big Show, it's never bad to have these giant guys. Like whenever I watch wrestling with people that don't watch it, there was like, who's this guy? Same with Will Ospreay. That's why Will Ospreay is so great, because straight away you're like, what? And Ricochet, and then if you want someone to try and entice them more, you go the Okada route, Tanahashi. I've got about 42 people now. But I think they would be my 10. They're very westernized. But then again, in my head, I'm starting a Western company, and that's not that it makes a difference anymore, but my brain naturally went to that point of view. But I think that's right. I need the time to think about this, so yeah, we'll have to figure it out. Jay Mitzer in the super chat says, "Why did you and John Denton split up?" Well, that's a very direct question. Yeah, John Denton and I used to do Rock Reacts. Unfortunately, Rock Reacts no longer goes anymore. Broke up some point last week. It was just a matter of circumstance. I know that everybody wants some kind of juicy story, but there isn't one. We each had our own goals and views, and things that we had to do, and we had our own lives and personal stuff, and it was just one of those things that unfortunately came to an end. But we had a great time doing it. I'm always going to look back on that stuff fondly. And not only did it get me into the reaction genre, which we did today with the Eminem track, which I'd never have done before, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And again, now there's this whole world of music that I'm slowly opening myself up to that I wouldn't have done otherwise. So it was very, very sad, but wish him nothing but the best. That's about it. I'd love to give you something else, but there just isn't. It's as simple as that. And I know that he's doing really, really well on his own channel at the moment. So, you know, it's all good by me. Undead FB Goo, always supporting the channel. And she says, hi, will you react to InVision's Good For Nothing, please? I will, Undead. I know I say this a lot, but we're back into the reactions now. They've been a little bit lackluster over the last few weeks, but now... now we're doing them properly. I will, once or twice a week we'll do a reaction, and I make sure that if you guys want it, I'll do it. Hey, maybe stuff like that I just put on the Patreon, try and give something more back. That's what it's all about. But yeah, I promise to do more of this stuff, and any suggestions like that rock. Would you go to a major company like AEW if it meant you would have to trim down your YouTube stuff? What a good question. I always answer these the same way, and again, you have to take the opportunities that come to you. And, and you have to follow your gut, right? So if an opportunity with AEW came to me, the first thing I would say to myself is, Simon, when you're 95 years old, are you going to be able... how are you going to feel if you didn't go after this? And I think the answer would be you'd regret it forever. So I think you would just throw yourself into that and see how it affected other things. I would imagine there would still be some YouTube stuff, because I like to think that's kind of synonymous with me a little bit, but you don't know, so you take it one day at a time. The main thing was, if I ever get offered anything with AEW, I will cry for 1,000 years, because I will feel like I've absolutely achieved something, and that's all that matters to me. It wouldn't be leaving the YouTube stuff behind, it would be taking my next step forward that hopefully my YouTube stuff led me to, and then it's all just a lovely pink parcel of joy, and I'd be awesome. How long have you been wrestling for? Started training in July. Oh, no, the question went. I started training in July 2016, so I've certainly taken my time, but there was a big injury along the way. In terms of doing shows, I'd say I've been doing shows for about 18 months now. There was an off period, but that's the truth. And massive thanks to everybody that books me. You have no idea how happy I am when you book me. And my man Aaron in the super chat says, can you define what a What Culture Death Match is? Aaron, I'd love to know. I didn't come up with the What Culture Death Match. Crazy Sami Callihan just threw it out there. Oh, by the way, it's going to be a What Culture Death Match. I'm like, we're talking about Sami Callihan. If you don't know, the day before WrestleMania, Saturday morning, Pro Wrestling Revolver, Pancakes and Pile Drivers 4, it is me versus Sami Callihan in a What Culture Death Match. I can only presume that it means chairs. It means... I don't know, tables. It means ladders. TLC. No rules. That's all I can imagine. And we know that Sami Callihan can do that stuff. We've seen it. Have I ever done it? No, I haven't. But am I going to go after Sami Callihan with everything I've got? Yes. Do I see this as the biggest opportunity I've ever had in my wrestling career? Yes. Am I like half nervous and half pumped and half excited and half terrified? Yes. But am I going to go in there and give it everything I've got? You damn right. And Sami Callihan thinks just because I'm a YouTuber, talking about YouTubers, that I don't know what I'm doing. Good. It means he underestimates me, and I'll whoop his ass. So as soon as I know, Aaron, I'll let you know. I don't know. I don't know at all. Nick C, my man, Nick C. Look, shout out to Nick C. He's on the podcast this week, as I talked about earlier. If you join the patreon.com/Simon316, link in the description below, you can come on the podcast. That drops tomorrow about 1 p.m. GMT, so make sure you check it out. Nice chat about NXT. He says, happy Friday, Simon. No question, just showing my appreciation. I had fun on the podcast as always. You are just a delight. Stay strong and positive, buddy. That's very nice, Nick, and thank you for all your support. Nick's been around a while. I think this is like maybe the 4th or 5th or maybe more time he's been on the podcast, because I can't thank him enough for what he does, and the same with Undead and everybody who does that. So yeah, check it out. That will be going live tomorrow on, what's it going to be, on iTunes and whatever it's called now, Apple Podcasts and Google Play and Spotify, and it'll be live here on YouTube as well. Simon, can you react to Godzilla by Eminem? Yes, I'm going to do that over the weekend as well, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. That's the one everybody asked for, so that's what I'm going to do. Would you rank M in your top 3 rappers? Yeah, he's my favorite. It's a bit of a boring answer, I know. And again, I'm incredibly uneducated, so it's not the best response to give. But yes, I just think he's great. Do you like football, soccer? If so, what team do you support? Yes, I support Arsenal. I'm very blessed and lucky to be able to cover that on Arsenal Nation. So if you are an Arsenal fan, check that out on arsenal.com on match days, and you'll be able to see my bald head every now and then. And we do our own little football podcast on this channel as well every Monday, probably about 1 p.m. GMT, depending on the day, maybe in the evening next week. But yeah, check that out too. We're going to start doing that. Shelby Lynn, great question in the super chat. What is your favourite thing about living in the UK? Leaving it? No, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's like a Bret Hart answer. What's my favourite thing about living in the UK? What do I like? Well, I mean, you know what? The NHS, actually, without wanting to get too political, the National Health Service is an incredible service, a incredible tool, an incredible system, in for a bit of a wild ride right now that I'm sure you know. We won't get into that because, as I said on my Eminem video earlier, check it out, I don't believe anybody tunes in to see me talk about politics unless I'm doing a political video. I don't think you need me harking on about that. So I think the NHS, especially over the last few years, without wanting to get too much into my personal details and family and friends, but seeing how much it can help and how they really do go above and beyond, it really is quite inspiring and powerful. And then when you hear stories about, the American health service, which is, I don't want to talk on it too much because I think it's unfair given that I don't live there, but the stories I've heard makes you appreciate the NHS even more. So again, without wanting to sound like a proper Twitter guy, I think the NHS would be the best thing about the UK. It saves people's lives, and it saves people's lives that I know. How can you ever thank that? It kept somebody alive. And what's more important than your health and life and death, right? It's really, really incredible stuff. Sydney H in the super chat. Your thoughts on mental health always warm my heart. Your support and candidness makes me so damn happy, dude. Keep it up, you wholesome baldy with a heart. That is very nice, Sydney. Thank you very much. I'm just glad that they was able to speak to you. Again, I always say this, but when I started doing those videos, I was really worried. I was like, oh man, what if people think I'm just lecturing them, or they think I'm doing it for views, or I don't know, you have these crazy things. And of course I'm doing it for views to a certain extent. I'm putting it on YouTube, so there's no point pretending otherwise. But the real crutch of it is I'm very passionate about mental health, and there's things in my family, again, when I've seen it firsthand, and I've gone through little bits here and there, and just no one talks about it. They do now, but nobody really talks about it. So all I can talk about it. I know I don't have the biggest platform in the world, but we can chat. So Sydney, if it's helped you at all, then you've made my day. So thank you very much. If you could have one wrestler as your coach, who would it be? What, right now? Probably Triple H, I guess. Because imagine, regardless of what you think about him, imagine the knowledge that he's going to have. And also, I'd mark out every day. Don't care. Nothing wrong with that. People going, you're such a mark. I'm like, yes, I'm a wrestler. I cover wrestling. I've got my own wrestling podcast. I made my logo like the Ultimate Warriors. Of course I'm a mark. I don't care. Dan Lemley in the super chat. What do you think of Taz signing with AEW? I love it. Really like Taz. I liked his podcast. I like how open and honest he is. I've always enjoyed it when he speaks out. Look, I'm happy for anything like that. And I think it's really inspiring. I did a tweet about this. Tweet plug. See him, Simon Miller316 on Twitter. I remember hearing an interview with him when he said, after he was kind of pushed into the commentary position, he wasn't sure if he wanted to do it. But now you could look back all these years later. It must be, 12, 13 years, if not more. And maybe he wouldn't even be in this position if he hadn't have made that jump. And I think it's quite inspiring. I really do. When, opportunities come to you, like we were talking about earlier, but you're still a bit dubious, but you throw themselves into, he threw himself into it. And not only was he good at it, but it's reaped the rewards. So I like it. I think he's like Tony Schiavone. It doesn't matter that his voice was associated with something that's quote unquote old. It works for this product. And that's all that matters. So yeah, you can't get mad at it. I think it's great. I look forward to seeing what he's going to do. I presume, and I'm only guessing, I don't know. I presume he's going to be the main second commentator for the second show, which sounds like it's going to be AEW Dark, but on TNT or TBS or whatever stations they have. And I think that's perfect. Him and Excalibur have great chemistry. So hell yeah. Tom Talks Roberts in the super chat. Your favorite thing about being a YouTuber? I like these questions. More weird questions. Weird questions are good. I'm going to sound like John Cena. Like stuff like this, that I can just come online and talk to people and have a question and answer session, and everybody will ask me stuff, and everyone's really nice. I love it. I love it. I think it's... I still honestly can't fathom that I'm able to do this. And I don't have the biggest platform in the world. I'm not PewDiePie. I would say I have a niche platform, but I love that niche platform. I never want it to go away. To have this kind of engagement and to know you can put a video up and get that instantaneous feedback is great. It's addictive, and sometimes it can get you down. And hell yeah, can you get too obsessed with views? Like, why did this do 52% worse than my other video? But ultimately, it's a really cool gig because you just get to talk to people straight away, ASAP, and they'll tell you, oh, I love it. I really do love it. I feel very proud and blessed to do what I do. Brandon Carvalho in the Super Chat says, thoughts on a woman winning the world title? I assume you mean Tessa Blanchard. In my opinion, it kind of buries the women's division. If you want to empower women, just put the women's title in the main event. Nothing offensive was intended with this Super Chat. That is a man that has voiced his opinions on the internet before. I take your point. The latter part I absolutely agree with. I think if you're going to have a women's title, build that title up and make it feel as important as your men's world championship. I think that's a valid point. I also think that it's pro wrestling and there should be no barriers whatsoever. If you have 3 people, that being the booker and the 2 wrestlers, and they all come to the agreement they want to do X, Y, and Z, and everybody's happy, then do it. I don't subscribe to this old school mentality, which I do respect. I don't want it to come across otherwise, but I don't subscribe to this old school mentality that wrestling must be real and a fight must look real. Like, one of my favorite parts of Dynamite this week was when they did that stupid suplex spot and Orange Cassidy came in to help them win. That doesn't make any sense. Wrestling doesn't make any sense anyway. Try and Irish whip someone. I was talking about this the other day on What Culture Wrestling, and please do subscribe to them as well. But try and Irish whip someone. Fails. Every time. They'll just sandbag you. So I think it was interesting. I think you have to pick and choose the right company. I think Impact was the right company. And this is taking out all the controversy that happened the day before with Tessa Blanchard, because I don't know what's true and what's not true. But in terms of a wrestling product, I liked it. I thought they had a great match. I thought Sami Callihan, being honest, did a really, really good job. He's a flipping great bad guy. And I'm sure it was very empowering for young girls and women to see that happening. And again, it's wrestling. We should be allowed to do this stuff. We really, really, really should. So it's okay if it's not to your taste. It is okay if it is to your taste. I liked it for what it was. I don't necessarily think it would work in every company. And I do agree with you, Brandon, that the overwhelming... You can't do this all the time because then why even have a women's championship? But I think the key is making that women's championship feel important. And all belts in your company should feel important. So, yeah. That's kind of my thing. Battlefield or COD in big capital letters. I've been thinking about it. Call of Duty or Call of Duty all day. I liked Battlefield, but I never properly got into it. But I did like it. Hang on, my chat thing's gone way. Jay Mitzer in the super chat says, give Sammy a pile driver on pancakes stuffed with thumbtacks. It could happen. Not going to lie, thumbtacks or drawing pins for my UK audience scare the absolute hell out of me. But if I've got to use that to beat him, that's what I'll do. I'll give him a pile driver on the pancakes stuffed with thumbtacks. I'll pin him, then I'll eat the pancakes and then regret it because it's going to have thumbtacks in it. So I'll spit that out and eat some normal pancakes. Don't forget, if you do come down, tickets are available now. Just find Pro Wrestling Revolver on Twitter and the link. You do get some pancakes. Apparently there were some issues with the pancakes last year. I'm told there'll definitely be pancakes this year. So you can come, watch me wrestle, have some pancakes, and then come help me take drawing pins out my back. That's a perfect day before WrestleMania. Tom Talks Rubbish in the super chat says, worst thing about being the YouTuber. Oddly, the same thing about the best thing. It's the comments. Nobody is infallible. Everybody has good days and bad days. And sometimes when, you can have 10 comments, and you've heard this before. You're the best, Simon. I love you, Simon. Simon, you're so great. Simon. One goes, you're a dick, Simon. You're a bad wrestler. You're like, why am I a dick? Why am I a bad wrestler? And you will overthink that until the cows come home. Now, I've got quite good at it now. I'm quite thick-skinned. And my main takeaway from it is that as long as people are engaging with me, good or bad, again, sound like John Cena. John Cena's Q&A this. I get a kick out of it. So, I don't mind. I don't mind anymore, as long as people care, whether even if it's positive or negative caring. But yeah, some days when you feel a bit sensitive, and then someone goes, "You are the worst professional wrestler. You're the worst YouTuber I have ever seen." You're like, I can't believe you said that. Then you get into a war with them, and you're like, "What am I doing? Why am I wasting my time?" Nothing I say to this person is going to change their mind, but I like it deep down. I do. On a day like today where I'm feeling good and I'm feeling positive, say whatever you want. You're allowed to. I've put myself out there. It's the internet. Opinions are, some are good, some are bad. You're allowed to have your say. And no one can say anything else. Chaz Short in the super chat says, "You're a true inspiration, Simon, hand on heart." That always blows my brain when people say that. Like, I'm not even sure that I can process it in my head, to be honest. That's very kind of you, Chaz. But to think you've even thought to say that, yeah, it's very, very nice. It is, and it's humbling. And it's like, I can't even find the words, which is crazy because I talk all the time. If CM Punk would come back, who should be his first feud? Well, it'd have to be Seth Rollins now, because there's built in what seems like real beef. And when there's real beef in a wrestling feud, that's instantly better. Plus, I've never seen that match on a WWE in a WWE environment, in a WWE ring. I'd be interested, so we should do that. QPR Forever in Super Chat. Would you be my tag partner if training goes well? You know it, QPR. You know it. We chatted about this last year. Absolutely. Let me know how you get on, and we can excuse me. And we can do it. We can go tag. I'd love to do that. Imagine that. I mean, I'd love to work with people that are training to be wrestlers now. I'd love to tag with people to be pro wrestlers now. Because let's not forget, I'm well aware I only got to where I have done because everybody bought into those wrestling journeys and because of what culture and because what all that brought me. Again, without fan engagement, I understand, and I'm not ashamed of that at all. In fact, I'm proud of it. For those who can't go, how can we watch your match with Sami Callihan? There will be a live stream. Obviously, there'll be videos on What Culture afterwards. So just keep an eye on What Culture Wrestling, and yeah, you can see either me getting my ass kicked by Sami Callihan, me kicking his ass, or us both kicking each other's ass. So yeah, WrestleMania weekend. Keep an eye on What Culture Wrestling. I think I've got this right in the super chat. McCready, I see what you've got here. I can't pronounce it though. McCreadioka. There we go. McCreadioka. When in life did you start trying to push your trademark positivity? I think it's very inspiring. Another very nice message. Well, it's twofold. In terms of my own personal life, again, I told this before. There's a video out there about this on my channel. I can't remember what it's called, but you'll be able to find it. It's in my Miller's Musings. I think they're called Simon Miller's Vlogs now. In my 20s, I was a very different person to how I am now. Hence why when I tried to become a wrestler, I think this is like the third time I've tried to be a wrestler. But in my 20s, I just wasn't the person I was now. I wasn't very self-assured. I wasn't very confident. For example, I gave up drinking when I was 18. It just wasn't for me. And throughout my 20s, I was terrified about going out because I was worried people were going to say, Miller, do you want to drink? Because you did get serious backlash to it. And I sometimes I'd hold a beer in my hand all night to try and, trick people into thinking I was drinking. Now, if I went out, Melly, do I drink? I go, nope. And they'd be like, you lose. I'd be like, okay. I just don't care. I don't care. And that kind of ties into, basically, I turned 30 a couple of years ago. And I don't know what it was. All of a sudden, I guess maybe it's an age thing. Maybe it's a mental thing. Who knows? But I just decided, you know what? This is who I am. I'm proud of who I am. I do like who I am. I'm just going to be this person. And if people like it, great. If people don't, great. And from that just does come a natural positivity, I found. And I did deliberately try to be positive too. I read a lot of, I don't like calling them self-help books. It sounds like you need help, but that's what people call them. I read a lot of those books and I found inspiration in those. And when I found applying that to my real life, I was like, oh, sweet. This actually works. And when bad things do come along, even though it may knock you, it doesn't knock you as much. And in terms of the videos, it was when the opportunity with What Culture came up. I was already watching a lot of wrestling YouTubers, and I'm sure you'll agree, a lot of it was negative. A lot of it, screw this guy, screw that guy, I don't like this guy, I don't like that guy. And I was like, okay, well, sure, even from a let's be different perspective, I'll just take what I believe to be a natural positivity, and I'll spin that onto wrestling, and it seemed to work quite well. Not completely. People get mad, but that's good. You can get mad. Your favorite console and game? Mine is Mega Drive and Flashback. That's a good question. And my favorite console is the SNES, and my favorite game ever is Ocarina of Time, but that's on the Nintendo 64. I hope I'm allowed both. I love the Super Nintendo, often why I make jokes about it in ups and downs videos. Brandon Carvalho in Super Chat says, if you beat Sammy, do a Why I Beat Sami Callihan vid. Do you know it, dude? And you know beforehand, I'm going to do why I am going to beat Sami Callihan video. And maybe when I'm in the ring, I'll do why I'm beating Sami Callihan right now. I promise you there's going to be a lot of promotional stuff, a lot of promos, a lot of back and forth, a lot of training videos. I mean, we're still a good few months out, right? So you don't want to shoot your load too first. Worst phrase ever. Regret saying it. But yeah, but I'll make sure you buy in. I'll get you excited. I promise, Brandon, and that video will be on the way. Tom Talks Rubbish in the Super Chat. Am I the only one who doesn't believe in WNW and just loves wrestling and more wrestling? What is WNW? Tom, I don't know what that is. I'm sure I should know. I'm going to type into Google. If this is something bad, man, I'll be mad. WNW stands for West North Point. Let's type it in. WNW Wrestling. I don't know what that means. Somebody let me know what that means. I should know what it means. I probably do know what it means and I've forgotten. But with your second part of the question, you should just love wrestling and more wrestling. I had someone tweet me earlier saying, Simon shouldn't do ups and downs for AEW anymore. He is too biased. I responded saying, dude, did you not see me call that Raw one of the best in years? He went, I didn't even see Raw this week. I was like, yeah, and I'm the problem. You should love wrestling. It's there to entertain you. Look, we only got one life. You've only got so much time in a day that you can dedicate to entertainment. Make sure that it's fun. Otherwise, what the hell is the point? You can get mad at it too. That's fine. But I think there should be a limit. My personal opinion. If you want to get super mad, more power to you. Geeked Out Nation. In Super Chat says, I find it hilarious that people assume being a YouTuber is easy. I think YouTubers work more hours than other jobs because it's harder to make it. Yeah, I think that's true. But I think that's true with a lot of jobs like this. So an actor or a sportsman or a stand-up comic, stuff like that, you got to put the hours in. Like, before the What Culture thing came along, oh my gosh, I mean, I used to spend hours on YouTube videos. It was mostly video game stuff then. And we had a cool audience, but it was still pretty small. But I just kept chipping away and chipping away. And I'm not saying I'm a super success now, but I'm certainly further along than I was then, touch wood. But yeah, but that's the thing. And overnight, I'm not saying I'm an overnight success. It's just the phrase. An overnight success is 10 years in the making. Because while someone pops up, you're like, oh, where did they come from? Really, they've been grinding for a long ass time. And I still put the work in, but I love putting the work in. I think that's where it starts. Again, I sound like Dwayne Johnson, but he's right. He's right in that sense. That's where it starts. And hopefully, PC in back. That's fine. And hopefully, it means more good things will come. But you never know. You got to take it day by day. Spaz Phoenix in the Super Chat says, I won't see this till later because I'm sneaking around at work, but you're the man. I don't know if I told you, but my channel passed 1,000 subs thanks to help from people like you. That is awesome. I like Spaz. He's a good guy. All he's ever done is got in touch and supported me and asked me to shout him out every now and then, which I did. Check him out, Spaz Phoenix. He's trying to work it as well. He's just got over 1,000 subs, which is a pretty damn good achievement. The problem with YouTube is everybody's forgotten that 1,000 people is loads. But because PewDiePie has like 70 billion, you forget 1,000. Imagine you went in to do a gig and there was 1,000 people. You'd be like, I've absolutely smashed it. Just realized I got to plug my laptop in. I meant to do this before and I forgot. But the last thing we want is for me to just vanish. Although we will wrap it up in a bit. There we go, power. But you're very welcome, Spaz Phoenix. Thank you for supporting me. If I can help you as well, then that's awesome. Big fan, still, man, and thank you so much for giving my son Tony Brown birthday wishes. I showed him the video, and he wouldn't stop talking about it and showing his friends. That you don't know. That is crazy to me. It's crazy to me that would have that kind of impact. But you're very welcome, and I'll do it again. Geeked Out Nation, the Super Chat. Tony Khan taking control of AEW's booking. Good question mark. Let's find out. The proof is in the pudding. I think it is. I like Tony Khan. I've heard him in interviews. I think he's a very smart guy. I think his wrestling knowledge is second to none. Dude knows it all. He hasn't just stumbled into this. He's a very smart, like I say, businessman. I think he'll do really good. And I think his influence is already there. I like Tony Khan. I do. I think he's an inspirational cat. Non-WWE guy in the Super Chat. Should Chris Benoit be inducted into a Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame? Not for me. This is a contentious issue that people like to argue about. I know that he was a good wrestler. I'm just talking from my personal perspective, and I don't even think I have the right to in many ways. Like people like Chris Jericho and Chavo Guerrero and that knew him. They have more of a right because they have both sides. But for me, as a wrestling fan, unfortunately, when I think of Chris Benoit, I think about him murdering his wife and murdering a very small child. And to me, that is always going to carry far more weight as it should than being a professional wrestler. If professional wrestling went away tomorrow, it would suck, but we'd find a way to get on. If we all went out and murdered people tomorrow, then terrible things are going to happen. So no, I don't want to see Chris Benoit in the Hall of Fame. I don't need to see Chris Benoit in the Hall of Fame. I don't even think it's massively... This is what I think, right? You don't have to agree with me. I don't even think it's a shame his legacy got wiped out. I'm not interested in any of that anymore because it has this horrible thing hanging over the top of it, and I'd rather not be reminded of it. And that's the truth. I remember that day. I was working down in Bournemouth, and I kept refreshing wrestling news sites because I couldn't believe it. And who am I? Just some random bald asshole thousands of miles across the pond, right? It's still a crazy situation. I mean, we're 13 years removed now, so we forget about that. But anyway. Spaz Phoenix in the Super Chat says, also, I'd love more of your awesome community to find me at Spaz Phoenix1, like my YouTube name with the 1 at the end. You could find me as a birthday present. Birthday was 25 days ago, if you're curious. I love Spaz Phoenix. He is always on the grind. I respect it. Good for you. Go check him out as Spaz Phoenix1. I presume that's going to be Twitter. But check it out on everything. Instagram, YouTube. You'll find him. And say happy birthday to him. He's 25 days. Doesn't really count, man. But you can have a happy birthday anyway. Thoughts on Ozzy's new songs and will you react to it? Yes. I managed to completely miss... those songs, but my man Nick reminded me yesterday, or told me about them yesterday, so we're going to react to them. Yeah, I'm going to get on it. Tom Talks Robinson Super Chat, of course it is. WNW is Wednesday Night Wars. Look, I like the Wednesday Night Wars because I like stats, right? And I get really excited when we get to a Wednesday or Thursday, I should say, and the stats come out, the ratings come out. Like, oh, who did what? But they don't matter to fans. It doesn't affect your interest in the product. Just don't worry about it. Would you do a show in near Torquay? Yeah, I did one in. Oh, I can't remember what it's called, but yes, I was near Torquay the other day for Reach Wrestling. I can't remember what it was because there's too many places. But I tell you, when it comes to wrestling, I'll take whatever booking. If I'm free and they want me, I'm there. Booking to me is just the best thing in the world. Any shows in Liverpool? I should have one late March or sometime in March. I don't want to give it away now because it's not confirmed. But yeah, I should be making my debut in Liverpool in March. Fingers crossed. Who would you want to win the Royal Rumble in 2020? Edge. If we're fantasy booking, if Edge comes back and wins, I'm gonna do a dance. I should say as well, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. I forgot to say that at the start. I think we're up to 95,000. We're 5,000 away from 100,000. It gets me excited. So yeah, please do subscribe. It's also Rusev Day. It is Rusev Day. Happy Rusev Day to everybody. Where else? I'm 17 and want to start wrestling. I'm from London. I don't know where to start. Get down to Knuckle Locks, my friend. Knuckle Locks in Brixton. You can find them on Facebook. I think they've got a website. Find them on Facebook. They will take care of you. A really good pro wrestling school. Someone says, come to Bulgaria, Simon. Again, man, if they book me and they want me and they think I can be an asset and I can get there, I'm there. I'm 16 and have cerebral palsy and want to become a wrestler. How should I? No, don't let anyone ever tell you no. I don't know the ins and outs of cerebral palsy. I understand that it's going to be a slight hindrance. But, dude, you could be the first wrestler ever with cerebral palsy. It's true, you could be. You don't know. The best thing to do is get in touch with the school, tell them about your predicaments, and they'll figure out a way to train you. They will, because if nothing else, even if it doesn't go anywhere, wrestling's really sociable. It's a great way to get in shape. It ticks a lot of boxes, and no good school would ever turn you away. So, yeah, that's what I would do. Any chance of you starting to do ups and downs for NWA Power? Unfortunately not. The realistic truth of the situation is if we did, nobody would watch. We wouldn't have the viewing figures there to sustain it, which sucks because it would be good. I like NWA Power, but that's the truth. The wider audience wants WWE stuff, then AEW stuff, sometimes New Japan stuff. The statistics are there. Simon, you don't want Rusev to win the Royal Rumble. No, in fantasy booking land, no. I'm going to enjoy it more being like, oh my gosh, Edge is back and he won the Royal Rumble. Actually, you're right, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I would go crazier for Rusev. You may actually be right now, I've said that. If Rusev won, I think I'd collapse. I'd potentially die. Fair point. Tom Talks Rap in the Super Chat says, would you wrestle in Essex? Yes, I've wrestled in Essex. I can't remember when now too, but I have wrestled that way. Keep an eye on my Twitter at Simon316. All my wrestling matches go up there, so you can see me in and around where I am. Alexander Falkenstein, still one of the best names we get in these things. And the super chat, hello to you, my friend. Greetings from Germany. Hope you're going to have an awesome weekend. I'll try to make it to your death match, but I'll probably be in the UK 1 or 2 weeks later, sadly, because of work. Well, dude, if you can, please do. But, dude, if you're in the UK, try and come to one of my matches. I'm joking. You don't have to. That's cool, though, dude. Look, as I say to everybody, if you can come, great. I'd love to see it. If you can't, everybody has lives. I understand. Like, it's, I'm never going to hold it against you. But it'd be great to see you there. Always like to shake people's hands and say hello, especially because we've communicated over the magic of the internet. So when you take that a step further and you manage to, say hello in person, I still find it crazy. I find all this crazy. What should AEW call their second show and what should they call their mid-card title? I always like the TV Championship, even though it makes no sense anymore. US Championship is fine. European would be different, but I think US Championship is the one they would go for. What should they call their second show? I'd call it Dark. I know it doesn't really pertain to what it is anymore, but it's a cool name and it's already branded and people know what it is. Unless Dark is going to remain on YouTube. But I would call it AEW Dark. Arches B. Cray, great name in the super chat, says, just want to say you're an inspiration to many. That's the third one of those. Thank you, dude. Again, as I said earlier, you don't understand. Sometimes I will sit. I couldn't sleep last night, for example, and sometimes randomly I think about messages like that, and I realize this is a flipping lucky boy. So thank you, man. You don't know how much it inspires me and motivates me, because it really, really does. So look, it's like inspiration going back and forth. Simon, some people might agree with this. What if Roman Reigns retires The Rock at WrestleMania 36? That is a great way to end his career. Yes, but The Rock is worth way too much money in Hollywood. He will never have another match unless he decides to give up acting altogether. I don't think he's going to do it. My man Brandon Carvalho in the super chat says, Dio Madden wins the Rumble after eliminating Brock with one hand. I wouldn't be against it. If you want to build a guy in one match, in one night, that's what you do. Have him win the Rumble. I'm not sure they've ever done that. I know there would be a lot of backlash, but it's more interesting than Roman Reigns winning it or John Cena coming back and winning it. I'm no problem with that whatsoever, Brandon. And you're right, it does make him straight away eliminate Brock Lesnar. And you could even have Brock Lesnar get his revenge at some point too. Dio Madden can still hold that over your heads, and it's those kind of big moments, when handled correctly, that turn people into superstars. NWA just brought back their TV title, so that's taken. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't worry about that, but maybe they would actually. Simon, some people might agree with me. Oh no, we've done that. Who's your favourite pro wrestler? I'm an Ever, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Bret Hart right now. I think Cody Rhodes right now, in terms of all of wrestling, he's the guy I get most excited to see each week, is Cody Rhodes. Best Raw Rumble, 92 with Ric Flair, correct? Yes, that's the best one, because Bobby Heenan's amazing on commentary, and Ric Flair is hilarious from start to finish. He makes me laugh. No Way Jose said on Twitter he will be number 2 at the Rumble. Well, if he is, he's in trouble. Either it's going to be someone amazing that makes you jaw drop and maybe even takes Brock Lesnar out straight away, or it's going to be someone like No Way Jose, and it's just going to... the poor boy. It's going to be absolutely ruined. Who would be a good opponent for John Cena at WrestleMania? The Undertaker would be good. You could do that round 2, but give them a bigger match, maybe a bigger build. None of this John Cena sitting at ringside with a beer. Also, wouldn't mind seeing him against Randy Orton. I know it's been done to death, but the nostalgia in me would get a kick out of it. Otherwise, Brock Lesnar again wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Seen it a lot. Maybe John Cena does that and wins the title, gets his revenge from SummerSlam 2014. Probably a bit boring, but I'm a bit boring. Frost in the Super Chat says, Simon, you're a cool dude. Call your knife-edge chops the hands-on heart. Frost, that's a really good idea. I'm going to do that. In fact, that's done and done. From now on, my chops are going to be called the hands on the heart, and Frost gets all, well, there's no royalties, but Frost gets all recognition for that. Salute to Frost. That's it. That's done and dusted. Archie Cray in the Super Chat says, thoughts on the slappening with Ben Potter? It's a shame we weren't able to do another one. We had a plan to do loads. Ben Potter is an amazingly good dude. Part of the Triple Jump team. He's a really nice guy. It's a pleasure to know him. That slappening was just weird. I think it was his idea. It wasn't mine. I think it was Ben's. And yeah, it sucks we weren't able to do more. But shout out to Ben. I like him. And Peter. And their stupid impressions of me that I secretly get a kick out of, but don't tell them. James Hutton in the Super Chat says, no question, just wanted to throw some money in to help, hoping to see you wrestle in Cambridge next month. Thanks, dude. Yeah, I am going to be in Cambridge next month. Well, I hope to see you there as well. Again, I love meeting people that go, oh, we chatted on YouTube. I'm like, what world is 2020? It's bonkers. Tom Talks Rob in the Super Chat. Biggest shock, Cena to AEW or Hogan to WCW? Right now, it would be Cena to AEW, but that's only because nostalgia has just taught us that Hogan did do that, and now WCW is dead. But I imagine that... I don't know, but the thing is, Hogan had left WWE. John Cena is still affiliated. He hasn't sort of left entirely. So I still think it would blow up the internet. I'd like it to happen, because What Culture and I can make videos for days about that. So... thumbs up. Tactics360 in Super Chat. Ups and downs for NWA in the future. Unfortunately, man, like we said, it's just... not enough people would watch it. It'd be great if they did, but that's just the truth of it. It's a statistical thing, and they just wouldn't. It always goes WWE, AEW, some New Japan, and everything else. While I watch it and while I love it, it doesn't really get the engagement as everything else, which is a shame. If The Rock never wrestles again, his last match was against Eric Rowan. Maybe The Rock's in the cage. I've decided to become a wrestler. I have one more year of school, then we'll start moving forward with my dreams. What's your best advice to stay focused on the craft and keep working? Man, if you're enjoying it, it will just come naturally. Make sure you're having fun. The brain loves fun. The brain gets a kick out of it. It just sucks it all in. So stay engaged. If you really, really want it, know that you're going to have bad times. But as long as the good times are outshining it, you'll be fine. Chicken salad. I do need to do this. Have you checked out Knock Loose? I haven't. I'm going to the gym this evening. I will listen to them and I will get back to you because you've asked me now for weeks and I'm an asshole and I haven't done it. And Brandon, the Super Chat, says, what's in Rowan's cage? Dude, I would love to tell you. I have no idea. Literally no idea what's in that thing anymore. I know that it's got teeth and I know that it can spit blood. It's an animal. There was a rumor that it was a skunk. Probably is a skunk. And I don't really know how I'm supposed to react to that. I am intrigued. I do look. The big thing with WWE right now is they're investing in talent and they're investing in long-term stories. You don't have to. I've said this the other day. You don't have to like the story, but at least you know where it's been and you know where it's going, and that's better than it was. So fair play to them. Hey Simon, great name. What do you think about Hatsune Miku? I don't know what that is. It's one of these things that I'll see it and go, oh no, I should have known what that is. but I don't know what that is. Oh, she's an artist. Oh no, is a name of a Volcoid software voice bank developed by Cryptian Future. I'll look into it. I don't know what that is. What always strikes you as the worst WCW storyline? Judy Bagwell on a pole. Sorry, on a forklift. And maybe Viagra on a pole. I know that Vince Russo claims that people still talk about them, but I don't think it's for the right reasons. They're always brought up to me when people go, wrestling's rubbish. Remember that old woman was on a forklift? And I'm like, we don't talk about that. Please, please stop talking. What do you think of Shawn Spears so far in AEW? I've been disappointed that he hasn't been more featured. No, I think he's done really well. He was on Dark the other day against Billy Gunn in a tag team. I think it's the same for lots of people in AEW right now. They're still finding their way. There's still loads of guys they've got to find room to use. He had a great feud with Cody. I enjoyed that immensely. I think it will be fine. The second show will help with that. So, yeah. Tom Talks Roberts in the Super Chat. Cheat Meal Friday. Are they the best? I like having my cheat meal on a Saturday. I'm not having a cheat meal this week, so I've got 2 wrestling matches over the weekend, so I want to make sure I don't like a bloated bill. But no, my day would always be Saturday. I kind of find Friday's still like in my head a work day. On Saturday, I like to chill out, go to the gym, and then just ruin myself on pizza and ice cream. But a random Friday here and there is good, yeah. I do know what you mean. I do like it. Imagine a pizza turn up right now. I'd be over the moon. Brandon Carvalho says in the Super Chat, speaking of metal bands, try Make Them Suffer. All right, Knocked Loose and Make Them Suffer and In Visions. See, they're all in my head. I promise I will do this. Do you think Otis will knock Brock out of the Rumble? In my dreams, he will. What do you think about Adam Page turning heel? I think AEW are taking their time, and the Adam Page character right now is more interesting than he was, so it's an absolute positive step. HBK versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Unfortunately, is never going to be happening. Who's your favorite comedy wrestler? Otis, Truth, or Orange Cassidy? Right now, if Otis counts, it would be Otis out of those 3. Although I love Truth and Orange Cassidy, I think the way they dedicate themselves to those characters is wonderful. Is absolutely wonderful. And I will do one more, which is going to be, Simon, what if Asuka wins the Raw Championship at the Rumble, then Paige returns and wins the Rumble and faces Asuka at Mania so she can get her revenge, then Ronda returns and face Becky at Mania? If you do that, you'll have a show that a lot of people love and a lot of people tune in for. That's what I think. And on that note, we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for all the support. I love that we can come up here and have these kind of chats. Again, I'm wrestling all weekend. If you're down tomorrow in Tewkesbury, can't pronounce that. It's like Twekes. That's a weird way to spell anything. Come and see me if you can. If not, keep an eye on my YouTube channel. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much to patrons. Patreon.com/Simon316. I can't do this stuff without you. I really, really can't. So thank you so much. That's why I was able to smash out an Eminem reaction in the middle of the day, because you support me. And it's the same with wrestling. It's why I'm able to go wrestling on Saturday and Sunday. You support me. You give me all this love. And that's the same to everybody that's watching right now. It's the same to everyone that subscribes. And it's the same to everyone that threw a super chat in today. We'll end with Tic Tac 360, who has jumped in there with the super chat. Says, fine then. Since I can't have ups and downs for NWA, I've probably given that the wrong intonation. What's been your favourite part of it so far? I just think Nick Aldis in general. I think Nick Aldis has proven in the NWA that he can be not only a credible world champion, but a world champion that he feels like a world champion, right? The way that he I don't know. He feels like a superstar, right? And I interviewed him at All In, and I enjoyed that chat a lot. I think Tim Storm as well would be in there. The fact that Marty Scurll, Colt Cabana is always good. Question mark. There's so many little good things, and the old school feel, right? The best thing is when I watch it, it doesn't feel like WWE, it doesn't feel like AEW, it doesn't feel like Impact or MLW. It feels like something different, and I think that's awesome. Nimby Dagda, hope I got that right in the super chat. Not really for Simon, but hi anyway. The kid who asked about wrestling with cerebral palsy should check out Gregory Iron. Well, there you go. So someone's come up with something. I'll check him out too. But Gregory Iron may be a bit of an inspiration for you, it sounds like. So that's good to hear. That's what I like. That is what I like. Look, have great Fridays, everybody. Enjoy your weekends. We'll be smashing some content out over the weekend. We'll be back properly on Monday. If you are a patron, you've got any questions, you know you can contact me over DM on there. But otherwise, look, thank you for your time. I talked about entertainment dollars earlier. You've given me some here. I love it. I had such a good time. That's 50 minutes. I was only going to go 30, but it was a blast. And I'll see you when I see you, and I love you all.